Hello, welcome to Toast Time. This week is banana bread. So when I had mentioned this to our friend Russell, he had told me about a banana bread that is famous in Hawaii. And so I actually recorded that, but happened to have a mic issue. So my microphone wasn't working and I didn't get the audio for it. That was a really great recipe. It had macadamia nuts and coconut oil. It was great. So I can put that up if you guys want as well, that recipe. But today I'm just going to be making standard banana bread. Okay, so first thing that we have to do is mash up the bananas. So I'm just going to take them, put them in here with my paddle and put it on the mixer. You can do this by hand with a fork, but I'm going to do it this way because it's quicker. And then you can see my bundt pan right here. Normally I would just do this with a normal loaf pan, but today I'm feeling a bit fancy. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the bundt loaf pan. So just put these in here. And they have a couple little brown spots. That's fine, that's just the sugars, and it's gonna be a little bit sweeter in that spot. And we're mushing it up anyway, so it doesn't really matter that it's mushy. All right, this here, and it's all done. So this is the consistency I like to get. Has a couple of like little chunks in it, but it's really nice when you're eating it and you get a little bit of extra banana. So from there, I'm going to just do the flour and the sugar. I know it's a lot of sugar. I don't make this often, but it's really good. Buttermilk, you can use regular milk as well. 5 eggs. This is going to help it come and bake together because you need something to kind of glue it together, especially with all of the banana, which has a lot of moisture in it. And then I had my butter out softening, so I'm going to throw that in. And the last thing is baking soda. This is going to go in the mixer, and we're going to just get it all together. We don't want to overbeat it because we don't want it to be cakey, but that's another reason that we keep the paddle on here, because it's going to give us a nice consistency. And make sure you start it on low because you do have a lot of liquids in here, and it's going to slosh up the sides if you're not careful. So now it's all mixed together. I'm going to give it about probably 10 seconds on like level 3 here. Just try to smush out some of that butter. Bring it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is how it looks. It's very sloshy. I'm going to take this and smush some of that butter that didn't quite go in. It's fine to have those pockets of it. It's going to kind of just melt and go along the sides and kind of create a nice crust on it if you have those big pieces, but I don't want huge pieces of it. Okay, so I'm going to pour it into here, and I sprayed it with some nonstick spray. And make sure you get this middle part too, because that's a lot of times where you're going to have it stick because you don't realize that it's when it rises up, it's going to be on parts that you wouldn't think it would be on. The other thing with this recipe is now after I pour it in here, I'm going to let it sit for an hour. Now you're probably thinking there's no yeast, there's not a leavening agent that has to grow. I don't know. There is some voodoo magic that happens with the acidity of the buttermilk and the banana and the baking soda. In that hour, it's bubbly and totally worth it. So try. All right, so this has been sitting for an hour. I can't really tip it, but I'm gonna see if maybe if I hold it really still and tip it a little bit, if you can see that it's gotten a lot of bubbles on the top and it looks really nice and kind of foamy. So now it will go into the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour. We've been preheating up to 350 and we're good to go. So I did put a baking sheet under it because just in case it rises up over this, I don't want that to end up either on my baking stone or on the bottom of my oven because this is a lot easier to clean. So I just put this on here and I'm gonna stick it in the oven. So I took this out at 49 minutes. I tested it with the skewer and it came out clean. I let it cool about halfway while it was still in that bud pan, and then I took it out and let it cool on here all the way. So you can see the coloring is beautiful. So when that butter melts and it kind of goes along the sides and into the bottom, you're almost kind of frying this in that butter that melts. And then once you let it cool, especially that's why I do it in the pan for a little while, it reabsorbs into there and you just get this really, really nice texture. It's nice and soft, but it holds together really well and you can see this shape. Just beautiful. All right, time to cut into it. Okay. I should probably get another plate to put this on so we can look inside. Okay. This. Wow. Yep, and it's cooked nicely through. It is still wet just because it is a very wet batter. It's not even a dough. So this is perfect. And you can see all the little bits of banana in there. And let's see how it turned out. It's nice and sweet. Texture is great. Banana really comes through. This doesn't have any vanilla in it. Normally I would probably add some vanilla extract, but this does have a lot of flavor. It's bold. So this is really good, honestly, if you wait like 2 days maybe, and then toast it, do your slices and then toast it and put butter on it. Since it is a homemade bread, you can't wait too long, obviously. It'll go bad, but this is really good for that because all of the butter in there really toasts up and it makes the house smell amazing. So I would definitely give this one a try. Thanks so much for joining me. And let me know if you do want the other recipe, if you like the Hawaiian tropical kind of flavors. But this is a really good go-to recipe. And it looks really pretty when you do it like this. And if you wanted to do a glaze, it falls really nicely into these crevices. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next toast time.